So we're going to go ahead and get right into this on the Power of Everyday Missionaries again by Clayton Christensen. Last time in the very last video, we were talking about on the intro to the Power of Everyday Missionaries why people don't share the restored gospel. And what we want to talk about today in chapter 1 is about finding people for the missionaries to teach, because the reality is that doing missionary work today, door knocking and those kinds of things, is literally starting to fade. It is becoming more and more that people will not let individuals in their home. And as part of this chapter, Brother Christensen talks about not prejudging anybody, not prejudging anyone. I mean, when you look at this individual here on the screen, um, isn't this kind of how we are sometimes with people? We almost have them under a magnifying glass. Here's what he says. He says, we simply cannot know in advance who will and will not be interested in learning about the church. Regardless of lifestyle, habits, or appearance, we cannot know and we may miss an opportunity. The people that you think that will, won't. And the people that you don't think would even be interested will be interested. That's the key. It doesn't matter their behaviors, how they dress, whether they have tattoos, too many earrings or not. We cannot prejudge anybody. So this is from 1 Samuel 16:7, and Brother Christensen shares this in the book. He says, "For the Lord does not see as man sees, for the man looks at the outward appearance, but the Lord looks at the heart." Isn't that so true that as the natural man, we tend to look at the outside, whereas the Lord looks at the inside? So the only way all people can have the opportunity to choose or reject the gospel of Jesus Christ is for us, without judgment, to invite them to follow the Savior. See, all of us have sins, we just have different ones. We put people under this magnifying glass, like you can see here, but yet we have issues ourselves. So, again, the only way that all people can have that opportunity to accept or reject the gospel is without us being the judge, because at the end of the day, the Savior is the judge. Here's another thing that Brother Christensen talks about. He says that there's no correlation between the depth of a friendship and the probability that a person will be interested in learning about the gospel. For example, full-time missionaries don't wait to become friends with their contacts. We have the mistaken belief that we have to prepare them before we could invite them. This belief creates distrust, as if Mormons always have an ulterior motive. See, I think so many times we teach that, well, we have to go and befriend these people. We have to put them through this whole process before we get them interested in the gospel. And that's not true. Based upon their experience, whether it's just a coworker, neighbor down the street, a friend, a cousin, or whoever, it doesn't matter. There literally is no research found that can validate that the depth of a friendship is going to make the real difference. Of course, once you share the gospel, that friendship can increase. So what is success? Success is inviting. See, most people fear failure. This is what Brother Christensen says. We succeed as missionaries when we invite people to learn and accept the truth. Much of the fear will vanish. They are able to exercise their free agency. Some will accept the gospel and others will not, and that is fine. We succeed when we invite. See, you got to understand, you are the messenger, not the message. You are a professional inviter. You invite people to see it, not to explain the details. See, think of it that you're like a movie trailer, not the movie itself. So you're just wanting to tease them enough, get enough information in order for them to then get the details. So what we're going to be covering in the next video is creating conversations about the gospel. This is going to be in chapter 2. We want to make sure that you get connected. You can find us on YouTube as well as Facebook. We are social under Mormon LDS 19. If you type that in on YouTube, you'll be able to find us there. Also on Facebook, Mormons Love Jesus Christ. You can find our page there as well. So stay tuned as we see in the next video on the Power of Everyday Missionaries, Chapter 2, the what and how of sharing the gospel. We'll see you on the other side.